And this is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio in Colorado Springs, Colorado, as we will be covering tomorrow's football game between the U.S. Air Force Academy and the U.S. Military Academy. This is actually the 50th meeting of these two schools. Of course, Air Force was founded as an academy in 1954. The U.S. Military Academy goes back way to the beginning of the 19th century. But this is an important rivalry. It's the second game of the year playing for the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, which is the tournament amongst the three major service academies, Navy, Air Force, and Army. And of course, earlier this year, the Naval Academy defeated Air Force in Annapolis 33-11. So this will be the second game of that series. And of course, Army will play Navy in Philadelphia in December in the third game. The winner of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy receives invitation to visit the White House. So this should be an interesting game. Last year, last game for Air Force, they're coming off a 55-7 win at Hawaii, and they won the game against Army last year at Mikey Stadium 23-6. And Army last won a game versus Air Force in 2012, 41-21 against Air Force. Remember Trent Steelman having a big day leading the Army attack against Air Force. And Army's last win here in Colorado Springs dates back to 2005. So for Army, coming off a loss at Rice, a game that was tied in the last minute of the game. Before Rice was able to go the length of the field to score the winning touchdown. Army is expected to have both quarterbacks available to play. Ahmad Bradshaw has been out injured the last couple of weeks, and senior A.J. Shure from Chicago, who has been playing well, running the offense, making big plays for Army. But I think the coaching staff is anxious to get Ahmad Bradshaw back, who's perhaps a little quicker at running some aspects of the option offense. A big player for Army the last couple of weeks has been fullback Aaron Kemper, who has 354 yards. That ties Ahmad Bradshaw for leading the team in rushing. Senior co-captain Matt Giacinta has 250 yards at fullback for Army. And freshman Jordan Asbury is averaging 8.9 yards a carry. He has 178 yards so far this year. For senior center Matt Hugenberg from Quincy, Illinois, this will be his 20th straight start for the Black Knights at center. The big 6'5", 300-pound center has really been very durable, leading the Army offensive line. And Army has been averaging 274 yards a game so far rushing, and they're scoring 24 points a game, but giving up 28.5. Defense really has played well against many of the opponents, and especially the duo of inside linebackers, Andrew King from Queens, 62 tackles on the year, and Jeremy Temp, the junior from Phoenix, who has 59 tackles. And he's also making his 20th straight start for Army on Saturday against Air Force. Another player who's doing very well as a safety is Xavier Moss, who converted over from being a wide receiver. He has 46 tackles on the season. And then, of course, there's a player, the freshman cornerback to watch, Brandon Jackson, who has got 2 interceptions, but he's just a great playmaker. He's got tremendous athletic ability, and Army will sometimes send him on a blitz at the opposing quarterback. Now, of course, for Air Force, under Coach Troy Calhoun, they have wins this year over Morgan State, San Jose State, Wyoming, Fresno State, and last week, as we said, against Hawaii out in Hawaii, 58-7. So a very strong offensive team. The 3 losses are all to good schools that went out and stayed with Michigan State, losing 35-21. They lost at Navy 33-11, and they lost to Colorado State 38-23. They're averaging scoring 36 points a game, but allowing just 21 points a game. So their defense perhaps is the underrated portion of the Air Force team. Their senior quarterback is Carson Roberts from Houston. He's got 386 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns on the year. And the big tailback, Jacoby Owens, 578 yards, leads the Air Force. He has 4 TDs on the year. And when you talk about the Air Force defense, the first name that pops up is their strong safety, the junior Weston Steelhammer, 47 tackles and 3 interceptions. What a name for a defensive college football player, Steelhammer. So he's a player to watch, number 8 for the Falcons. So going to be a lot of festivities out at Falcon Stadium. It's a 1:30 start locally on ESPNU. You'll have representatives of the Army Corps of Cadets. You'll have a good contingent, I imagine, of the Corps from Air Force, and a lot of local military will attend. I'm sure we're going to have flyovers and lots of festivities. It's a huge rivalry between these schools. I was describing it to someone by saying it's really like the Chicago Bears playing the Green Bay Packers. That kind of intensity. But when it's over, they take the time to sing each other's alma maters at the conclusion of the game. The winning team sings second, which is the great tradition of this event. And then the knowledge that these athletes from both schools and students and cadets will be serving together in the U.S. military. So from Colorado Springs, this is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio, and I would like to say this week we are sponsored by our friends at the American Legion, the world's largest veterans organization. So we thank the 2.2 million veterans of the American Legion for sponsoring our coverage of the Army Air Force game here in Colorado Springs. So watch our coverage on West Point Football Report and Twitter at Sons Legion Radio. For Sons of the American Legion Radio in Colorado Springs, this is Ken Kraetzer.